So good day everyone. I am Faith Mariusi Aso, and today my group and I will be talking about a very important but at the same time interesting topic titled Global Population and Mobility, focusing specifically on the global city. So basically we will be talking about on how people move around the world and how this certain important city play a big role in all of it. We'll explore what makes a city global and why this city are so important in our interconnected world. So now let's proceed to the first topic, global cities. Global cities are central site for advanced services and facilities of telecommunication, which are necessary execution and management of global economic activities. In those sites, corporate headquarters tend to center particularly companies that are operative in more than one country, SACEN 2005. So in short, it means what makes a city daw as a global city according to a scholar named SACEN 2005. This city are essentially mga key location for a very advanced services and excellent communication system. Think of it this way, no? Para ma-manage nimo all mga big businesses and mga economic activity happening across the globe, need natin mag-use of mga best tools and services, right? And knowing global cities, they provide that. Go offer sila mga excellent, mga higher speed internet, mga sophisticated financial services, and ang pinaka-important, go offer sila mga expert advices na need sa mga big international companies para smooth ang ila operation kag transaction. Because this city, si Global City, may ara na sila ng ginatawag ng mga top tier services and communication. So many mga international companies nag-decide na ibutang nila ilang mga main offices kag corporate headquarters sa Global City because kanina mga company, they work in more than one country, which means they need to be in a place where they can easily access and connect sa ilang mga operation worldwide. In short, si Global City are like a hub, no, or a central place kundiin ang mga international businesses get stand, and that's because sa ilang mga advanced services and communication. Next. So in this slide, we will be talking about the important connection between globalization and global cities. So in this part, it says globalization is spatial. So it means globalization happens in real life, physical places. It is not an idea or anything na makita ka lang sa internet, but it gets happen in a real situation sa ating real world. So first, globalization happen in physical spaces, foreign investment, economic opportunities, and human capital move to city. So, ang example here na situation is that when a company on one country invests money on another, or when there's a new job opportunity pops up, kanina mga situation happen na siya sa mga actual location and actual places. And mostly these things move na siya towards sa mga cities, because cities are where the real action happen para sa mga global activities. So, ang kaning si global activities, happen lang na siya only sa mga cities. And kanina mga cities, maklasify na siya as global cities. Ang reason nga aday kinabutang ang mga situation, diri gina-import ang mga situation, just because sila lang ang makasolve sang problem, sila lang ang maka-analyze ang situation, because sa ilang mga advanced services and communication. Next, we have what makes it move is that the fact that it is based in places. Globalization act in cities and vice versa. So what makes globalization that really happen is that it is tied to a specific places. So cities is where both globalization takes place and where it gets shaped. For example, ang country nga Paris, we are all aware na si Paris, they are known sa ilang mga tourist spot like si Eiffel Tower. They are also known as the capital of fashion, drawing people and mga businesses all over the world. But at the same time, si New York City, they are also known for its stock market, making it a huge center para sa mga international trade. So, kanina mga countries, si Paris kasi New Year, they are not just part of globalization, no, but they also actively influence it. Next, in other words, global cities are integral to globalization as it is essential to this city. So this means si global city are super important for globalization because you can say or you can have globalization without these special cities na act as hub and driver for globalization. Lastly is cities act on globalization and globalization act on city. So this means, like I've said earlier, na si globalization gahelp na siya na mag-drive sang si global city gahelp na siya na mag-drive sang globalization. And in return, si globalization naman also changes and shape this city so that they can grow and evolve together. Next slide is defining global city. A global city, also called world city or sometimes alpha city or world center, is a city which is a primary node in the global economic network. So again, si global city, sometimes kinatawag na siya as world city or alpha city because basically it is like a very important hub or connection point. It is like a central station where a lot of global businesses and activities passes through. Next, command point in the organization of the world economy. First, they act as a command point for the world economy because they are the control center kundi ng mga important decision about global businesses and trade are made. They are also central on how the world economic system is organized. Next naman is the key location and marketplaces for finance and specialized services. So, si Global City also maklasify po na siya as mga major spots for mga money matters and special services. So, which means may ara sila mga big banks, mga financial market, and mga expert advices and services like consulting, legal advices that are crucial para sa mga international businesses. So, if kaning mga global companies na if need nila og help, they often turn or go sa kanina mga city, which I mean si global city. Next naman is major site of production, including innovation. So, si global city are also a big place, big place for making things and coming up with new idea. They are also centers sa mga new product na develop and na-innovate across various industry. Next is globalization actually enhances the role of cities. So what's important to note here is that globalization actually makes this city even more powerful and important because as the world become more and more connected to each other, the role of the city, which means the global city, grow as they facilitated this connection. Lastly, we have all cities operate in a global system. So the truth here is that all cities, they are part to a bigger global system. Even to mga city balana that are not part or that are not classified as global city, they are still part or they are still connected to the worldwide network. And lastly, and it is important to note, it's so important to note na si global city, they are essential on how the entire system function. That's all. Thank you.
Bright day everyone, I am Ronaldine Andrade Badugas and today I will discuss about Saskia Sassen. So, sociologist Saskia Sassen popularized the term global city in the 1990s. So, Saskia Sassen is a Dutch-American sociologist who has made major contribution to understanding how globalization reshapes cities, economies, and societies. And she is a professor at Columbia University and has taught at several leading institutions worldwide. So when we hear the word global city, we commonly interpret it as mga big cities or like dako nga population sang isa ka city. But according to Sassen, a global city is not just large or highly populated. So she means here that not all large cities are considered global cities because size alone does not determine importance in the global system. So, for example, a city may have large population, wide land area, or many buildings, but that does not automatically make it globally influential. So, it can't be categorized as global cities because for Sassen, her criteria for what constitutes a global city were primarily economic. So, the base for her to classify one city or country as a global city is ginalantaw niya is ang economic status sang isa ka city. So, only those that have significant influence over international finance, trade, and business operations can be classified as global cities. So, when we say sa international finance, like ang banking investment, ang stock market trading, and like ang global capital flow. So, these cities control large amounts of money that move across countries. So, for example, ang New York and London, they influence global market through their financial institutions. So, when we say naman trade or global trade, so there's our global cities are connected to international trade network. So, they are the one who facilitate the exchange of goods and services worldwide. They connect different countries through business activities. And like ang sa business operations naman, like corporate strategies for multinational companies, then international investment and partnership. So, that's the three category nga kaka-classify ni Saskia Sassen ang isa ka city or country as a global city in terms of their economic status. So next is, in her work, she initially identified 3 global cities, which is New York, London, and Tokyo. So Sassen chose these 3 cities because they represented the highest level of global economic power at that time. So she observed that these cities were not just large urban areas but were deeply connected to the global financial system. So, ang New York serves as a center of global banking and investment, especially through the New York Stock Exchange, it is the largest stock market in the world. Then next is ang London. London is a major hub for international finance, banking, and foreign exchange markets. So it is supported by the Financial Times Stock Exchange and foreign exchange market where currencies from different countries are traded. So next is ang Tokyo. So Tokyo is the financial heart of Asia and is linked to global trade and industry through Nikkei. So Nikkei or Nikkei 225. So it is a stock index that measures the performance of 225 large publicly traded companies listed on the Tokyo Stock Exchange. So it works like a scoreboard of Japan's biggest companies. So when the Nikkei 225 goes up, it means major Japanese companies are performing well. So when it goes down naman, it means their overall value is decreasing. So the Nikkei 225 is an important indicator of Japan's economy and is one of the reasons Tokyo is considered as a global financial city. So overall, New York, London, and Tokyo were considered the first global cities because they were the strongest command centers of the world economy, shaping how money, trade, and capitalism operate globally. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I am Maureen P. Cabando, and in continuation, experts have expanded the definition of global city. So before, they are mostly about business and money, but now gin-expand nila kung ano gid ang definition sa global city. So first is Los Angeles. So Los Angeles is famous for
movies and entertainment. So their films are watched worldwide and has global influence. So San Francisco is the home for the biggest technology and internet companies. So ginlead nila ang world sa innovation and digital business. Next is Shanghai, Beijing, and Guangzhou. So these cities are huge centers for business and trade. So ginpakita nila that economic power is growing in different parts of the world. Next is Melbourne. So Melbourne is known as the most livable city in the world. So this means that a city can be global because it is safe, comfortable, and has high quality of life. So lastly, defining a global city can be difficult. It makes us question in what ways are they global and to what extent are they global.
Good day everyone, I'm April Bainosa and my topic is economic power. So, ang economic power is usa ni siya sa pinaka-importanting factor kung anong nahimong global ang isa ka city. Kung baskog ang ekonomiya sa isa ka lugar, mas naging influential siya sa tibuok kalibutan. For example, ang New York City, may pinakadako siya nga stock market, maong may dako siya nga role sa global finance. Ang Tokyo naman, siya ang pinakadaghan og corporate headquarters, isa po siya sa top global cities. Ang Shanghai naman is importante siya sa global trade kay isa siya sa unang center sa manufacturing din tungod sa China, mas nailhan siya bilang factor of the world. Thank you.
Great day everyone, I am May Brasona and I'll be continuing the report about the economic power. So, economic opportunities in a global city make it attractive to talents across the world. So, big cities is ga-attract siya og people from different countries or different places because they offer more job and business opportunities. Example is ang sa sa Seoul is as we all know nga there daghan dira og like mga company, for example sa K-pop industry, ang YG company, ang Hybe and uban pa, di ba? Ang sa Hybe is kanang kuan, ay sa YG is di ba kanang ang Blackpink is na sila member nga isa nga dili siya from Korea or wala siya gapuli sa Korea sa una. However, nag-move siya from Thailand to Korea kay sa Korea na dito ang job opportunities. So next is to measure the economic competitiveness of a city. The Economist Intelligence Unit has added other criteria like market size, purchasing power of the citizens, size of the middle class, and potential for growth. So there naman is para para ma-check if how strong a city's economy is. Experts don't just look for jobs. They also consider the market size, the purchasing power of the citizens, the size of the middle class, and potential for growth. So ang market size is naman na siya ang if how big the company is. For example is a city with many businesses, malls, and industries like sa Manila. They have a large market because they they sold many goods and services there. Next is the purchasing power. Ang purchasing power naman is na siya in how much people can afford. Example is a city wherein people can people earn higher salaries and they can buy gadgets, eat in restaurants, and travel more. The next naman is the size of middle class. Amo naman siya as people with stable income. So example is a city with many like mga teachers, office workers, and small business owners, and has a strong middle class. And lastly is the potential for growth or growth potential. Ano siya is ang chance to improve in the future. So example is a developing city wherein gabuild sila og new roads, malls, and airports. Like example is ang sa Cebu, they have a high growth potential. So amo lang na siya. Thank you.
Everyone, I'm General Rini Cadorna. I will tackle the centers of authority. Washington DC may not be as wealthy as New York but is the site of the American state power. Even though New York City is a major financial and economic hub, all know naman natin nga ang New York City is the richest and economically powerful cities because already ang dago nga banks, businesses, Wall Street. And the Washington DC is more important politically because diriga based ang US government, then diriga operate ang White House, Congress, and Supreme Court. Then nga mas sit ang Washington DC because all know naman natin nga mas powerful ang political power than the economic power. Then ang point dire, power doesn't always come from the money, it can also come from the political control. That's all.
I am Bryce Chavez. I'm going to report the Houses Major International Organization. So, what is the Houses Major International Organization? This is the hosting of the headquarters of intergovernmental or supranational organizations, gives a city global influence. These organizations set rules, coordination policies, and resolve dispute across nations. So, the first one is the headquarters of United Nations is in New York. So, it makes the New York the headquarters of the United Nations. This makes the New York a central venue for global diplomacy. The next one is Brussels is home for European Union. So, it hosts the European Commission's European Council and much of the European Union administration, making it the de facto capital of the Europe. So, Jakarta is the location of the main headquarters of ASEAN. So ASEAN means is Association of Southeast Asian Nations. So ASEAN's coordinates economic and political cooperation among 10 Southeast Asian countries. So why this matters? Because these cities becomes meeting point for diplomats, lobbyists, and journalists, and also the NGOs. They influence international laws, peacekeeping, trade agreements, and regional integration.
Good day everyone, I am Jadel Cantiga, one of the discussants of the first group. So imagine a city not just as a place full of buildings and people, but as a living institution where ang ideas na create, na share, and na spread across the world. This is what we mean when we say a city as a center of higher culture and learning. First, let us talk about intellectual influence. When we say intellectual influence, we refer to how perspectives or ideas influence other people's minds. In the context of global city, a city, makonsider siya nimo nga powerful hindi lang sa iyang wealth or sa iyang economy, but also sa iyang ideas. For example, sa publishing industry, well, publishing industry is amo na siyang type of industry nga ga-provide, ga-distribute of content sa iyang consumers. And it plays a big role sa pag-influence sa mind sa mga tao. Kay kung ang city damo siya publishers, writers, as well as scholars, may mo na siya nga center or a place nga ang knowledge na create or na produce and na share. That is why ang cities like New York, Paris, and London are so influential because of their publishing industries. For example, sa New York City, ang isa sa company that like Penguin Random House nga ga-publish og world famous books parehas anang Hunger Games. Hunger Games ay nung most of you familiar na kag nakabasa na sa Hunger Games. And in fact, ang kanisang book may ara ng movie adaptation. Sa London naman, meron siya classic novels like atong Pride and Prejudice, and sa Paris may literary masterpieces like Les Miserables. So katong mga na-mention nga pieces or popular hindi lang sa ilang cities but also sa ibang nga parts sa world. Because of this, these cities influence kung ano ang ginabasa, ginatunan, ginapatihan sa mga tao. Hindi man nato ma-deny ang truth bala or ang fact nga kung ano nga itong gina-read as well as ang gina-consume nga information baka affect sa kung paano tayo perceive ang things around us. Now, let's move to education, which is another important part of a city's cultural power. But in what way? Paano man siya naging significant or essential part sa city's cultural power? Well, education is the lifelong process of acquiring knowledge, skills, and values. And nag-start siya sa universities, which are not just for books, but also sa pag-enhancement, sa pag-encourage, sa pag-use ng art, sa music, as well as sa entertainment. One great example of this is Boston, which is also known as the Athens of America because throughout the 19th century, gina-consider na ni siya as a center for culture, literature, and education. In fact, naadiri ang Harvard University, which started way back in 1636 and is one of the most prestigious universities in the world. And tungod sa reputation sa Harvard, damo nga students from different countries ang nag-travel pa sa Boston to study. And these students, dala nila ang ilang own unique nga perspectives, ideas, and culture. Because of this, na-create siya og diverse kag dynamic nga culture kag influence nga go far beyond its borders. Now, let us focus on culture and entertainment. Ang culture is not just about books kag schools. It is also about entertainment, music, and films. For instance, Los Angeles, also known as the center of sa American film industry because of Hollywood. And ang Hollywood naman siya nag-produce of movies such as Avengers and Titanic na widely known or popular hindi lang sa Hollywood or hindi lang sa LA or Los Angeles but also sa different parts of the world. Because of this, Los Angeles, ka-impluensya niya ang global culture. Like, paano manamit, paano maghambal, paano mag-act ang mga tao. And diri makita nato nga ang cities hindi lang maka-shape sa culture through education but also through entertainment. Lastly, in today's world, global cities are becoming more culturally diverse. So ano man ang buot silingon sini? Well, this means that people from different countries, backgrounds, and cultures live and interact in the same place. As a result, damo ka makita nga different languages, different foods, as well as culture and beliefs sa isa lang ka lugar. For example, sa New York City, makita ka dito og Chinatown, nagabalig ka og Chinese foods, and then may araman sila Little Italy for pizzas, and you can hear different languages being spoken around you. Same goes sa London, where people from Asia, Africa, and Europe live together.
Good day, everyone. Today, I will be discussing about the challenges of global cities. First, what are global cities? So, global cities are highly developed and important cities sa world economy, like New York, London, and Tokyo. These cities are known for their fast-paced lifestyle, diverse culture, and many opportunities for work and business. Because of this, global cities often give an image of being exciting and modern places. For example, in Dubai, we can see tall buildings, luxurious lifestyles, and people from different countries working together. However, despite these positive images, global cities also have serious challenges. One major problem is inequality. This means there is a big gap between the rich and the poor. Some people live in comfortable homes while others are struggling to survive. Another issue is poverty. Even in rich cities, there are still many people who cannot afford their basic needs. For example, sa Manila, there are modern buildings and shopping malls, but there are also areas where people live in poor conditions like slum area. Lastly, global cities can also experience violence or high crime rates, especially in areas where poverty is common. Even in developed cities like New York City, there are cases of homelessness and crime. So when we say global cities, it may look attractive and full of opportunities, but they also face hidden problems such as inequality, poverty, and violence. These challenges shows that not all people benefit equally from the development of these cities.
Good morning, afternoon, and evening to you all. I am your discussant for today. My name is Janine Concepcion, and let's discuss what is gentrification. So, gentrification is the process where poor people or working class people in urban neighborhoods undergoes in transformation through the influx of more wealthy residents and businesses. What does it mean by that? In simpler terms, it's driving out the original low-income residents. So, let's discuss. So, this is a phenomenon of driving out the poor in favor of the newer and wealthier residents. So, what does that mean? It means trading out the poor people or low-income people for newer and wealthier residents. Imagine there's a place where there's a lot of people who are low income or fewer or does not have that much money to spend, and then suddenly there's a bunch of wealthier and high class status people that came to that particular area or particular urban area and then started to renovate, started to live there, and makes the whole area more expensive and nicer. And because of that, many low-class people or low-income people will start to find new areas that they can live, that they can afford. In the outskirts of New York and San Francisco are poor urban enclaves occupied by the African American. So this usually happens in the older parts of the big city. But then it's slowly getting influenced by a lot of wealthier and more class people, because many in the urban communities has low pricing when it comes to their housing, their taxes, their property taxes, and many other expenses in the particular urban areas. That's why many people will be attracted by those, many wealthier people will be attracted by those particular areas. That's why it gathers a lot of attention by the other wealthy citizens. So slowly, they are being forced to move far away from the economic center of the city. For example, if a neighborhood gets fancier, richer, many people who has wealth and power lives in that neighborhood, the economic value of that neighborhood will start to increase because taxes will arise. Because of many wealthier people, they have, because of their income, a lot of them has greater taxes because the taxes depends on the person's capacity or the income of that person. So it starts to change drastically when it comes to their economical and financial state. So in that particular area or that particular neighborhood started to get fancy, rent and expenses started to go up, especially in the market area. Many market sellers or groceries, for example, they will start charging up more of the prices of their goods because they can see the profit and the value of many people in that particular area. They can afford what they can see in that shelf. That's why many sellers starts to change or drastically change and rise up their prices because of the influence in the neighborhood. As a city attracts more capital and richer residents, the real estate price would go up. That would force the poor resident to relocate far away to live in a cheaper area. That means because many residents would move in that urban neighborhood, they would tend to upgrade, they would tend to invest to make the area looks expensive and nicer. Because of that, the status of that neighborhood would drastically change, leading to the development of their economical status. So because of that, that may attract many business opportunity seeker to develop a business in the particular area because they can see that they can have profit because of the development. They drastically changing economical development in that city or neighborhood. Because of that, many people have to adapt the changes, especially in taxes and property prices or real estate prices. Many people in that area can have to actually adapt if they want to stay in that neighborhood. That's why many low-income people or low-class people tend to move far away to a cheaper area because they can't afford the sudden changes of their financial or economical state in that neighborhood. So in conclusion of my reporting, gentrification, in simpler terms, it means that driving out poor people or low-class people so that many richer and more class people or resident may move in and develop that particular neighborhood. And that is all. Thank you.
Right afternoon, everyone. I'm Lucy Christopher Vito. So, in conclusion, global cities are the real world hub where globalization is happen. Also, they act like a command center of the world because they own the biggest business, diverse culture, and advanced technology. So, by looking up this city, we can totally see that globalization is on action. It where the international trade, travel, and ideas come together in one place. While they show our best part of our connectedness, they are also the main place that we can totally see the effect of the global changes in the first hand. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. Now let's go to the fourth sentence in conclusion. They are also places that generate tremendous wealth. This means global cities create a lot of money and opportunities, like big business, international trade, banks, and companies are located there. So many people and city itself become very rich. Example cities like New York or London have many companies, so they earn huge income. Last, they also remains as a site of great inequalities, where global servants serve global entrepreneurs. This means that even if the city is rich, not everyone can benefit equally. Global entrepreneurs are rich business owners or investors, and global servants are workers like cleaners, drivers, service worker. So rich people earn a lot while workers can less and serve them, creating a big gap between rich and poor. So in short, global cities are very rich, but they also have a big inequality. Some people are very wealthy while others are struggling. That's all. Thank you.